Comfort has never been neutral. It either sharpens you through restraint, or it dulls you through excess. The most dangerous moment in a man's life is not when he suffers, but when he becomes accustomed to ease without realizing what it is costing him. Long before modern society normalized convenience, the Japanese understood this truth with terrifying clarity. They warned that a soft life does not destroy a man loudly, but quietly, by slowly removing his ability to endure himself. Miyamoto Musashi wrote that weakness is not born in the body, but in habits. A man does not wake up fragile. He practices fragility daily through avoidance, indulgence, and reliance on comfort. The samurai did not fear pain because pain revealed truth. What they feared was the silent decay that came from a life without resistance. This is the cost of a soft life. Chapter 1. The Unnoticed Drift. Kenji's life looked acceptable from the outside. He had stability, predictability, and enough comfort to avoid obvious suffering. His days were structured, his responsibilities limited, and his environment designed to minimize friction. Nothing demanded too much of him, and nothing truly threatened him either. Yet beneath that calm surface, something was missing. Kenji felt strangely hollow during moments that should have felt complete. He was tired without being exhausted, restless without being challenged. The more he tried to relax, the more uneasy he became. The ancient Japanese warned of this condition. Zen teachings describe it as a loss of contact with reality, where the mind floats without anchor. When life becomes too smooth, awareness dulls. Kenji did not recognize this as danger. He mistook numbness for peace. Chapter 2. The Samurai's Suspicion of Ease. In Bushido, comfort was treated with caution, not hatred. The samurai did not reject pleasure entirely, but they refused dependence on it. They trained to sleep lightly, eat plainly, and endure discomfort without complaint so that circumstances could not control them. Freedom, to them, meant being unbound by conditions. Musashi lived this philosophy with absolute commitment. He avoided luxury, fame, and stability, choosing instead a life of discipline and uncertainty. He believed that attachment weakened perception and softened resolve. In his view, a man who needs little can see clearly, while a man who needs much is constantly negotiating with his fears. Kenji's life, by contrast, was built around negotiation. He negotiated effort, postponed difficulty, and compromised standards in exchange for ease. None of these decisions felt significant in isolation. Together, they formed a pattern that shaped his character without his consent. Chapter 3. How softness forms. Softness does not come from pleasure itself, but from repetition without resistance. When every inconvenience is removed, the mind loses its tolerance for effort. What once required discipline begins to feel unreasonable. What once felt simple begins to feel heavy. Zen masters warned that when the body avoids strain, the mind invents problems. Kenji noticed this in himself. Small challenges irritated him. Delays felt personal. Silence made him uncomfortable. His tolerance for friction had shrunk without him noticing. The samurai trained to expand their tolerance deliberately. Repetition, restraint, and exposure to difficulty were methods of preserving inner stability. Kenji's environment did the opposite. It protected him from discomfort, and in doing so, it weakened him. Chapter 4. The Illusion of Safety. The soft life promises safety, but delivers fragility. When everything is arranged to avoid discomfort, the smallest disruption feels overwhelming. The samurai understood that safety is not found in control of circumstances, but in control of self. Kenji discovered this during a moment of pressure he could not avoid. A responsibility fell on him unexpectedly, requiring clarity, endurance, and decisiveness. He hesitated, not because he lacked knowledge, but because his mind resisted strain. The discomfort itself felt threatening. Musashi wrote that hesitation reveals attachment. A warrior who hesitates is not lacking skill, but freedom. In that moment, Kenji saw that his freedom had narrowed. His comfort had made him cautious, and his caution had made him weak. Chapter 5. The Encounter with Silence. That evening, Kenji did something unfamiliar. He removed distraction and sat alone in silence. At first, the stillness felt unbearable. His mind reached for escape, for noise, for relief. But he remained. Zen teaches that silence exposes the truth we avoid. In that quiet space, Kenji recognized how often he had chosen ease over effort, relief over responsibility. He saw that his life had been shaped by avoidance rather than intention. This recognition was painful, but it was also clarifying. Pain, the samurai believed, was information. It showed where attachment existed and where discipline was absent. Kenji did not feel motivated. He felt honest. Chapter 6. Surrendering the soft identity. The hardest thing to abandon was not comfort itself, but the identity built around it. Kenji had come to see himself as someone who deserved ease, who needed balance, who should not be pushed too far. This identity resisted change. Bushido demanded the opposite. The warrior identity was built on duty, restraint, and readiness. A samurai did not ask whether something was comfortable, but whether it was necessary. Kenji realized that as long as he protected his softness, he would never access his strength. Surrender came quietly. He stopped asking how he felt before acting. He stopped negotiating with discomfort. He accepted that effort was not an emergency, but a condition of growth. Chapter 7. Small non-negotiable actions. Kenji did not redesign his life dramatically. He implemented small, non-negotiable acts of resistance. He woke earlier than comfort allowed. He limited indulgence not as punishment, but as training. He practiced remaining present when his mind demanded escape. This mirrored the samurai approach. Mastery was built through repetition, not intensity. Zen discipline emphasized daily practice, even when nothing seemed to change. The purpose was not achievement, but alignment. Over time, Kenji noticed a shift. Discomfort no longer shocked him. Silence no longer threatened him. His reaction slowed, and his decisions became firmer. Chapter 8. The Return of Weight. As softness receded, something else returned. Kenji felt heavier in a way that felt grounding rather than burdensome. His words carried more intention. His presence felt steadier. He no longer rushed to relieve tension. Musashi described this as rootedness. A warrior rooted in himself does not need constant reassurance. He stands firm regardless of outcome. Kenji recognized this quality emerging slowly, without drama. The disciplined life did not make him happier. It made him reliable. And reliability, in the samurai tradition, was a form of honor. Chapter 9. Understanding the true cost. The cost of a soft life is not laziness, but loss of capacity. It erodes resilience, dulls awareness, and weakens resolve. Over time, a man forgets what he is capable of enduring. This forgetting is irreversible unless confronted. The samurai feared this more than death. Death ended struggle, but softness corrupted it. Musashi warned that a man must study difficulty deliberately, or it will overwhelm him unexpectedly. Kenji now understood why. His life was not easier. It was simpler. Fewer negotiations, fewer excuses, more presence. Chapter 10. Living without dependence. The goal was never suffering. The goal was independence from conditions. Zen taught that freedom comes from non-attachment, not indulgence. Kenji no longer needed comfort to function. This did not make him harsh or rigid. It made him calm. When difficulty arose, he met it without panic. When ease appeared, he enjoyed it without clinging. This balance was not emotional. It was structural. His systems no longer revolved around relief, but around readiness. Conclusion. The ancient Japanese understood something modern life has forgotten. Comfort is a tool, not a foundation. When it becomes the foundation, everything built upon it weakens. The cost is paid slowly in diminished strength and lost presence. The disciplined path does not promise pleasure. It offers something rarer. A mind that does not flee pressure. A spirit that does not depend on ease. A life that can bear its own weight. If these teachings resonate with you, understand this quietly and clearly. Without intention, this path disappears from your life as easily as it appeared. Subscribe and remain here. Otherwise, this may be the last time these principles cross your path.